Brother, it's always a pleasure to talk shit with you, man.
Yeah, you
Always
as well.
is. Just like-minded individuals, miles away from one another, having real honest conversations, right? And I mean, the start of this conversation has got me thinking, right? I got a question. How do you navigate egos? I'm gonna shelf the addiction stuff. I want to talk about that. I really want to dive into those weeds, but how the fuck do you navigate egos? Especially when it comes to the gym, because they're all narcissistic pricks.
Honest to God, honestly, it's the way I can navigate egos is checking my own and realizing that I don't know everything. And there is nothing on this green earth that I am 100% certain of, right? And so for me to say that my way is the highway, I'm lying to everybody and myself. So first realizing that my ego can be checked by me and me alone. No one else gets to check my ego. I don't give anybody that power. That's a me power. Um, Realizing that I need to first check myself and that there's other people on this planet that can offer me anything on any topic. Realizing that it offers me an opportunity to see others um, that have strong egos, that have strong opinions and positions, and understanding they're in the exact same place I am. It's like that old adage, right? You speak in front of a crowd, and an easy way to do it is imagine everybody naked.
Yeah.
I don't think that would make it easy at all. That would make it super awkward. But putting yourself on the same level of the same playing field as everybody else and realizing that everybody's on your playing field as well. No matter how much they're telling you they're right and you're wrong, no one's ever right. So without getting into our last conversation,
Mm.
no one's ever 100% right. And that includes me as well. So I start by checking myself, man.
I like that.
It's hard though.
Yeah, it's fucking But if it was easy, just same thing as I say within a class, right? If it was easy, you wouldn't pay for it.
Exactly.
You know, if it was easy, would it really be beneficial? Probably not. Um, yeah, you got to check yourself. You do. I agreed. And sometimes, I mean, what better part of the year to do that than when it's coming to a close,
Okay.
right? People assess the year that's gone. People assess the year that they want to have going forward, and they assess where they're at right now. I don't know about you, but I always get to this weird introspective spot when it comes to December. December, I'm all types of fucking weird. Like chips are like upside down and backward and diagonal, and I'm like, what's going on? I was like, oh, I'm just kind of resetting. I'm flushing out the stuff that I probably shouldn't have done. I'm like, okay, well, where do we want to go next year? And how am I supposed to do that? Where was I an asshole? Where was I a good bloke? And then what's in between this mushy, gooey stuff? I was like, let's kind of get everything in order.
We do that. We do that around me and my wife do that for our business, for the gym. We do that in October and we do it with our whole staff. We kind of go over, we don't kind of, we do. We go over what we did the previous year and then we go over and plan to our best ability what's coming up for the next calendar year. And so, because we do that with our business, we also do that in our personal lives. So that way, come December 31st, New Year's Eve, right? You're not left with, holy shit, it's the end of 2023. I feel like I just barely got a hold of it. And now all of a sudden it's gone and the whole world's changing because tomorrow's 2024. When in reality, it's only an opportunity for us to just step back and look at everything and realize we can only control what we can control. And so when we have those moments of, and trust me, we have those moments. We had those moments last night. We had those moments last weekend and the weekend before of where everything feels like it's piling up and we're reacting instead of being proactive. It still offers us an opportunity to try to be as proactive as we can with everything that we know that's coming. Obviously, you're going to have to jump, move, dip, dive, dodge, duck, dodge again.
You can dodge a
So
wrench, you can dodge a ball.
yeah, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge things jumping up on you and putting themselves on your calendar that you weren't ready for. So um, we try to do that early, so that way we're not left at the end just scratching our head and pulling our hair out. But
Yeah,
that's what we do.
let's be honest, January 1st is just another day.
It is. It's just another day. It's no different than tomorrow or yesterday. It ain't.
It's just another fucking day. Usually a little bit more hungover for most folk, or you don't have to go to work. Or maybe maybe you're working night shifts, first responders and all that. But it is just another fucking day. And I think it's important to take the lesson out of this conversation I'm fucking getting there in real time of like, sit your ass down for X amount of time somewhere in the year and analyze what went wrong and analyze where you want to go. And then we'll
Yeah.
figure it out.
Yeah. And get
And that's
input.
it.
Yeah. Get
Get
input.
input. Yeah.
Yeah. Because like I said, we don't know all the answers, and we don't know what we don't know, and we might be missing something that someone else is paying attention to that just might go right over our head,
Yeah.
and we need to slow down to find those things.
So I want to talk about addiction.
Speaking of New Year's Eve, right?
Speaking of New Year's Eve. Yeah, the day of abundance, right? No, it's only a New Year's thing. Yeah, okay. See you after a 7-day bender.
Yeah.
It's it's a funny old thing. It grips you by the throat. And a lot of the time, well, we're not ourselves, right? It's like this shell of a human being that's getting led around rather than being in control. And I met a lot of folk, and I'm sure you have done yourself, that come through those shutter doors and try and battle addiction in whatever they're addicted to. It could be anything. Addiction as a whole. They try and battle it through fitness. And Dale King's doing a fucking fantastic job, right? Small Town Strong is it called? Out in Portsmouth.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's Small Town Strong. But I think it's great because it's highlighted what goes on in every single box. There'll be at least one person out there. They could be addicted to video games, mate. It could be addicted to jerking off. Or it could be the hard stuff, like the really fucking hard stuff. It could be anything. And it's people trying to regain control of their life. And I would like to hear your perspective, a little bit of story along the way. And also, how do we help those folk, man?
It's hard. It's hard. Speaking from experience, no one could help me. Nobody. I had a judge order people to help me. Now, by that, I mean I had court ordered treatment, and that didn't even help me. Everybody's got to find that help, and they have to find the ability to ask for help or find it in themselves to help themselves. They have to want help. And if people don't want help, they're not going to go seek it, because everything in their daily life, everything that they're doing in their daily life, from drinking, smoking, needles, pills, porn, games, all of that, the only reason why those exist so heavily in those, not the only reason, but a huge reason why it exists so heavily in those people's lives, is because they're using it to drown out all the sense, all the other influences the world is throwing at them, good and bad, right? And they're using it as a coping mechanism. So for them to even realize help is needed, they have to give their brains the opportunity to decompress from all the stuff that they're using to self-medicate. And so it's hard when you're in the throes of it. It's hard. So just a history on me. I started drinking young, and I was always an angry kid, and I don't know why. And it wasn't. I wasn't drinking at like 9, right? But it was 11, 12. And so it hit when I was really young, and it wasn't anything my parents did. It wasn't anything my brothers and sisters did, my family. It was just me, and I was just different. And I had friends that were the same, right? We were all different, but we were the same. So it had a grip on me really young, and it took all the way to getting arrested and getting thrown in jail before I started realizing how big of a problem it was, right? And even then, that didn't even stop me from drinking or doing the dumb shit that I was doing. It took a few years later, after I lost my job, after I got my car repoed, after I lost my apartment, after I had to go home for a couple months and beg my parents. And I'm an adult. I was an adult, beg my parents for help. after I had to go move in with my sister for a few months because I couldn't afford anything because of all the treatment that I was having to go through. It was that moment when I when I started to realize that, bro, the world isn't out to get me. I didn't get dealt a bad set of cards. I didn't have a disease. I didn't have a loss of control. I realized, I mean, it was almost like a bolt of lightning. I realized that everything that was happening to me was my fault. Everything from broken relationships, broken marriages, losing custody of my son, everything. All the shit that I blamed on everybody, it was nobody's fault. It was my own. And so when I realized that, that's actually what got me into my fitness journey, was realizing that it's time for me to stop blaming everything and crying about everything and start taking ownership for my own life. And it started by slowing down on drinking, quitting smoking, so that way I can get my fat ass on a treadmill and run and try to lose weight and feel healthier, feel better. I mean, I was like, shit, man, I was 29 and the doctors were getting ready to put me on blood pressure medicine. Bro, I had like, my cholesterol was through the roof, and it wasn't hereditary. It was just because I was drinking whiskey 6.5 days out of the week, 30.5 days out of the year, and smoking like a chimney, multiple packs. And so I had that realization where I didn't want to be a piece of shit anymore. And I didn't want to make anybody responsible for my health and my well-being. And I started taking it upon myself. And it helped me get sober. I've been sober for 11 years now. Last November 1st was my 11th anniversary of everything, man. Everything. Nothing. The only thing that I do now is I drink an excessive amount of coffee. That's my drug of choice, caffeine. And maybe some protein powder. But 11 years sober, and all of it started just because I started to take ownership for my own life and not blaming everything else around me. And that had to come from me. It had to come from me, and it had to come from a realization that, yeah, everybody talks about rock bottom, but my rock bottom is wherever it is for me. And mine was just when I started, man, bending over to put on my shoes used to cut my breath. I couldn't breathe tying my shoes. And I'm like, I don't want to deal with this anymore. I don't want to be tired and angry and grumpy and sick and sore every time I wake up because I got hammered all night long the night before, right? And so it's again finding that power within yourself, but then also realizing that you have that control. That's going to be the topic. That's going to be the topic for today. Yes, it's addiction, and yes, it's checking egos, but it comes down to control. We have that control. Yeah. Nothing else controls us. Nothing.
And that's what people are trying to lose, right? They're trying to get into that numbed trance. Hey, can you just take the wheel? Or just here's the rain. Just let me lie back on that lilo, and the waves are just kind of going to do its thing for a little bit. I want to be numb. I don't want to feel anything. And I want to sit in my own bubble. It's like, wow, we don't have those bubbles.
Right.
Everything happened to you is your fault. And it's also because of you too. It can go both ways. You built all this. And it's, I think that's beautiful. I completely agree with it. And people taught me that, the athletes, the members, they taught me that. Because they always say, oh, thank you, coach. I was like, why are you thanking me, man? I just kind of showed up, shouted at your ass, and was an asshole because I like, push your knees out more, chest up, more. Come on, we can go harder. Yeah, dial it back, go again, less weight, more weight, this, that, and the other. We're just the person always pushing on that button, always knocking on the door. Then you get to turn around and you look the athlete in the eye and be like, no. Thank yourself. Because you had to do it. And that's where, like, I think fitness and addiction go hand in hand, right? Because 7 minutes burpees for time, right? So max reps. I can't do it for you. Not a single fucking one. You have to do every single goddamn rep for 7 minutes. Everything that you do is you. You could do one rep or you could do bloody 300. That's all you. Every single part. this is where it gets into the kicker though, and this is where I'd trying to fabricate a question. Sometimes people replace that addiction with fitness rather than allowing it and using it to heal in a way and learn about themselves and confront themselves, good, bad, and the ugly. They completely replace it. And I was like, now doing the gym 3 times a day. You're like, hold on a minute. You're not a professional athlete. You pay to be here. You don't get paid to work out, you know? Like,
I feel like I had that realization early on in my almost 12-year career with CrossFit is I felt and running. I'm a runner. And so I replaced drinking whiskey every night and smoking cigarettes with running and then CrossFit. And I had like this introspective sit down with myself and went through this dialogue of am I just now a fitness piece of shit? Like before I was just a drunk piece of shit, right? I was a town drunk that everybody would laugh at and I'd stumble and fall and forget my car keys and drive off drunk. Um, did I just replace that with the knucklehead in the gym now? And don't get me wrong, I'm still a knucklehead in the gym. But I did have a realization that yes, there can be addiction to fit, and it's very real. But for me personally, I wasn't calling in sick to work 3 days out of the work week to go to the gym. I wasn't missing bill payments so I could go to the gym. I wasn't hiding my gym from my family and friends, right? I wasn't um, I wasn't fighting other people inside of our gym. I wasn't punching people. I wasn't kicking people. I wasn't hurting people physically, right? Like mentally and emotionally we are, because 7 minutes of burpees will break someone down real fast.
yeah.
But I wasn't physically aggressive and assaulting people because I was so jacked up on fitness, you know? And so in my mind, fitness for me only led to positive outcomes and where it built me up as a person. And so I can justify me being in the gym, and also because I own the gym. But before that, I could justify being in the gym for a couple hours a day because I knew that it was creating something in me that wasn't possible before. Even though, not that it wasn't possible, but I just didn't have the drive before, right? I was muddled with whiskey and cigarettes. And so um, I viewed it as a positive addiction in the beginning. And now it just creates opportunities for me to become stronger, better, faster, to live longer. That's it. Different.
Definitely a tool, right? It's a catalyst.
Yeah.
It reveals something about yourself. It really does. And I think it's the ownership should come on the coach to then place the ownership on the person in front of them to be like, okay, cool. Now let's further that conversation with yourself. Here's a seed and here's a watering can. Go fucking get some water from the lake and give it some nutrients. And be like, no. Now it's not, your whole identity was someone who had some trauma with them, or they were drinking, or they were gambling. And now you're not just an athlete. Because then, other end of the spectrum, we coach athletes, like legit athletes, and they end up getting an injury. Next thing you know, they've got the same crisis, and now they're on the liquid gold, or they're snorting, or they're on the needle, or whatever it is. And you're like, well, hold on a minute. There's a lot of similarities here because we're numbing things. So we've gone left or we've gone right, but there's zero in the middle because people aren't spending a lot of time with themselves. They don't know who they are without all this noise around. So I think we have a really fascinating role to play in people's lives, essentially. But it's like, yeah, okay, stick your knees out, keep your heels down, put your chest up, go as hard as you can. You're going to get a high five or maybe a fist bump at the end. I'm going to put your scores on a whiteboard and fuck off. I'll see you tomorrow. But it's way more than that, because now it's like, oh, how you doing? And as soon as if we say how you doing, and they bring up a competition, right? Yeah, okay, you let them finish so you don't come across like an asshole. Then you ask them again, well, how you doing? Like you, I don't want to know about your scaled competition that you do on the weekend, right? Like I think that's great, fantastic, but I want to know about the individual, the person. How are you doing? And next thing you know, whew, shutter doors come out, right? Floodgates open, and they just confiding you with these these things that they're battling with.
Yep.
And that's where we have, oh fuck, it will make me cry right now just talking about it. But that's where we have the position to show a little bit of humanity. It'd be like, you know what, man? Even us at the front that have that 5-letter word beginning with C and ending in Ouch. Yeah, we struggle with the same stuff. It's like, what do you mean? Like, you guys are superheroes. And like, no. The reason why we do this stuff is because we probably found it a little bit earlier and struggled with it. And somebody else helped us. We had a coach. We just get to pass on that baton a little bit. And it reveals that part of yourself. It strips it down. Who are you? How are you doing? What addiction has got you right now? It could be bloody phones. It could be fucking anything. Anything. We've all got something. Something has got us by the balls. And it's like, no. You got to take ownership on this bad boy.
Yeah. Well, even though I've been 11 years sober, there is not a day that goes by that I can't taste whiskey in my mouth.
Wow.
There's not a day that goes by that I don't think about. Like right now, I'm off today. I'm home. I'm by myself. There is nothing stopping me from going and getting a bottle and just having a drink right now. Nothing. And I think about it every day. Every single fucking day when I wake up, I think about it. The only thing stopping me is me. And you know what's really funny is the thing I miss the most is cigarettes. Bro, I love smoking. I smoked for a long time. And the only thing that keeps me from smoking is that I'm not drinking. And so every day I wake up and I see, and it's a little bit more hard because I'll go out and we'll go for, 400 or 800 meter run. And we're in an industrial complex and there'll be people, employees standing outside smoking. So every once in a while we'll go on a run and I'll just get a hit and like, I can't do that with whiskey. The only flavor I have that I can go off of, and the only remembering that I have that I can go off of is in my head. But I can taste it like this glass of sparkly water is a glass of Pendleton right now. So even though I've been sober for 11 years, it still has a grip on me. And man, I slip up one time. That's it. I'm gone. No one will see me for a long time. And that's what keeps me going too, is that I know that I'm not strong enough to fight it 100%. I have to continue to fight it every single day. So even though it's been 11 years, I'm still, every single day I have to deal with that. I get to deal with that because I'm choosing to be sober, right? I could let go, but I don't want that. Then I tell everybody around me, you don't want that either. You don't want to see drunk Randy. Everybody in my life right now, including my wife, she's seen me in the beginning, or in the beginning of our relationship. I was still kind of drinking once every month, right? And so, but she's never seen me in the deep thralls of what my addiction was. A lot of people that I don't see anymore or talk to, they do. They've known me for a long time as that way. And so it's always interesting seeing people that I haven't seen in over a decade and have them comment like, one, I'm 80 pounds lighter than I was back then. And two, that it's just everything that I've gone through over the past 11 years is just far different than everything that I was doing back then. So it's always a comment like, you don't want to see me from back in the day. Be happy that you get to know the asshole coach Randy that'll tell you to quit cheese dick in your wad and don't slow down now because we still got 12 minutes left, right?
Cheese dick in your wad. I'm gonna pinch that one. That's fantastic.
So it's a constant thing, and it's something that still has control over me.
As you were talking, then something jumped out at me of taking control of yourself gives up control and allows yourself to change. And giving up control means that we don't change. We stay the same, we're stagnant. We are the drunk Randy. We are the aggressive Alex. We are whatever. And change is a fucking funny concept, mate. We're supposed to like not be the same. We're supposed to evolve and like adapt. And I was like, yeah, okay, you write it down. It makes a lot of sense. Then you try and go through it with the interaction with your emotions in there. Everything inside of you is saying, no, 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 no. We found this little piece. We found this little safety blanket. Do us a favor. Take this to the grave, will you? Stay here for the next 60 years and we're going to be okay. But that's not the point. We're supposed to adapt and new versions. You know, you hear the whole 2.0, 3.0 and all that bollocks. And I think that's something that I've ended up battling against subconsciously. Of like, oh no, it's always there. Grips hold. You're like, no, 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 it's fine. Because if you stay who you are, you're gonna survive. It's like, yeah, but you'll live in a world of conflict.
Think of it this way: everything on this planet is supposed to change. Nothing on this planet is meant to stay the same. Everything should change, from the mountains to giant tree forests, redwood forests in California. Some of the biggest trees in the world are made to change. They're changing all the time. Rock changes when water hits it for long enough. There's nothing that says we are stronger than mountains or trees. We're supposed to change just like everything else is. It's that fighting it that's hard. Change is easy. It happens around you regardless if you wanted to or not. When we fight change, that's when it becomes hard. And I'm not saying all change is good, but at the same time, like you said, if we're adaptable, change can be a good thing.
What better way to prove that to yourself than a little bit of fitness?
Yeah. Everything ever since you said it, man, 7 minutes of burpee. Seven minutes of burpees. That's all I can think of. And I was trying to remember my score.
I'm not doing it.
You haven't done it?
No, I said I'm not gonna do it. I have done it. Fucking lockdown. I think I did it every day for a while, and I was like, "Fuck this! I'm not doing it anymore." But yeah, I've done it a few times. It's nasty, man. It's nasty.
It is. It's terrible.
I've managed to hold 20 a minute.
Oof.
I think the most is about 144, somewhere around there. I remember it was just over the 140.
That's a good clip, man.
Oh, it was horrendous. I don't enjoy it. Do not enjoy it. Just slamming your face and balls into the floor and jumping up and giving a little bit of a clap above your head for 7 minutes. Doesn't sound like a good idea, but my God, you feel electric after it.
Absolutely. 100%.
Like we did Cindy yesterday. You know, for a 90-kilo bloke, Cindy's not going to be the one. You know, it's a bit of tin to shift around. You would look at, you know, maybe a 5, 6, 70-kilo sopping wet. Yeah, they're going to be gunning for it. And I was like, you know what? I've not taken the pin out of this hand grenade for a while. Let's drop the hammer. Let's do it. See what happens. Mate, you feel a little bit broken once you're done, but you feel unbelievable.
Oh yeah.
Of like, you know what? I had a great good fist fight midway through there with myself. He's like, oh, I want to slow down because it hurts. I was like, yeah, but so does life. Keep going. Yeah. What happens on the other side of this? Are you gonna collapse? Yeah, maybe. But well, I guess we're gonna see.
Cindy's rough, man. Cindy will do that to you. Cindy will take you through the highest of highs and the lowest of lows in 20 minutes.
Especially if you're trying to hold on to a rev pace.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's a great one.
Strategy is just get to 10 rounds as fast as you can and then hold on.
And then see how many more you can get after that.
Yeah, and then sit down because that's your 20 minutes. Brother, I really appreciate your insight on these things. I think these fitness hubs that have sprouted up in warehouses and garage gyms and the like have become these lifelines. And I feel like, you know, I think about this thing way too much, as I'm sure you do as well. And I feel like there's this intangible vein between all these little fitness hubs around the world where when one kind of prospers, so does everywhere else. A rising tide lifts all ships. And inevitably the shit ones will collapse. And it's not what we want, but if you're a cunt, you're a cunt, right? You'll do its thing. But everybody is there to help one another. And it becomes this network of, hey, let's share ideas. And it's also really satisfying, is not the word, comforting to hear that coaches, gym owners, members, out there, you're probably never going to meet in the street, will deal with the same social issues as the 10,000 folk I've seen in front of my eyes. And it is comforting.
Oh yeah, man.
Appreciate it, mate.
That's the good thing about what we do is regardless of where we're at or what language we speak, we're all doing the same thing and we're striving for the same thing to make better community members, to make better um, coaches, to make better athletes, to give everyone an opportunity to create some sort of level of fitness that they can carry on throughout the years of their life. That's our entire goal. And like I said, that happens in every language. It doesn't matter. I've never been to a CrossFit gym, or I mean, I've never been anywhere where they don't speak English. But I would love, just as an experiment, just to walk into a gym in Singapore, not speak a lick of the dialect, and just stand there and just wait and see if I can pick up on what's happening and what's the workout, what the stimulus is, and move through it with just a language of fitness. And I feel like we can do it. I feel like it's something we could do. And I can't wait to try that.
I've had a lot of drop-ins that speak fuck all English. Like, I mean, fuck all. They can tell me their name, and that's about it. The name and maybe good, and that's all the words they got. I was like, cool, visual cues it is. Like, no problem. Like,
every burpee is the same in every language, I think.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it is fascinating. How much communication can we actually achieve via this fitness thing, via this moving our physical meat sacks and not relying on words? Because we do become over reliant on the old verbal cue. And next thing you know, you've got a coach who's basically transcribed an entire book, and you're like, right, well, what do you want me to do? Oh, I want you to jump. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Just use that word next time so I don't get confused with my blonde brain. We communicate so much without it. And I think about that outside of the gym, and maybe the gym is a catalyst for that again.
Yep, I think it can be.
I don't know. I think there's going to be a lot smarter people out there, Randy, that's going to come up with some things and said, you know what, we're onto something. Glassman was one of them. We're onto something. You and I will just keep on being the facilitator, keeps talking some shit. Don't choose dick you wad. That's fucking fantastic.
Absolutely.
Trying to get people through the door. So, brother, I appreciate your time again. I'm going to get out to Oregon.
Yeah, do it. Come out.
I'm going to get out.
There.
I'm almost there. I just need a rubber dinghy and one paddle. I don't need two. No, fuck it.
Well, shit, you're on your way to Canada, man. You're almost there already. So
I'll just hop out, parachute out. We do stop in LAX, but America's a big place.
It is. It's a big place. But when you get out here,
I will do, man. We need to do some sort of road trip and around. There's some fascinating people out there doing some cool shit. And big fan of when in Rome, do as the Romans do, rather than what does the news say or what does this bloody textbook say? I probably can't read it anyway. So it's like, no. Let's go to Azerbaijan. Let's have the soup. Let's do some fitness. Let's talk some shit and play some cards. Yeah. So I'll see you in Oregon.
Yeah. All right, man.
Oh, man. Appreciate you, man. Yep, take it easy. Give my best to the family, and we'll speak soon.
All right, buddy.
Legend. See you later, everybody.